Hey everybody, welcome to MCAT Radio. I'm Scott.
I'm Neil.
Welcome. It is Monday, March 16th. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and if you're watching this on our replay tonight, or on our replay on Tuesday at 5:30, you will be able to see me wearing the Shamrock Trucker hat.
Whoa.
Yeah, but if you haven't got it...
Shamrock Truckers, make sure that all the shamrocks are distributed on time.
Yeah. I just got to deliver all these shamrocks before it's too late.
Before I run out of time on my contract.
Pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, we had the St. Patrick's Day Parade on Saturday. MCAT was there in attendance. We had some GoPro footage. We also had Ron on the street recording the parade as a whole. Mm-hmm. Really well-attended parade for all intents and purposes with all the snow that we started getting dumped on.
Especially with the weather.
I mean, the weather itself, it's like you woke up Friday morning and it's like, where have you been all winter?
Lousy smarch weather.
Pretty much. I like to believe that... if the weather in Missoula is not quite normal, the weather everywhere else is 10 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Missoula's always kind of been like the place where it's just like,
we got the Bowl Valley.
We get less in Missoula, but everyone else gets more. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I always like, of course, it's like believing that Missoula is better than most places, which it is, but still.
Missoula represent.
Missoula represent, Missoula. Yeah, so you're listening to 101.5 KFGM, Missoula Community Radio, out of there in Bonner, Frenchtown, and the Bitterroot. Mm-hmm. And, online, if you want to go to 101.5kfgm.org. I can't say dot between the 1 and the 5 because you're not supposed to put too many periods and dots.
Not in the web address.
Not in the web address. So what was your takeaway? You drove the truck most of the way, so you were pretty much snug inside the truck. Yeah, I was walking around. A lot of puddles between sidewalks and streets. Mm-hmm. So stepping into puddles were pretty commonplace when handing out candy.
Yep. The little confusion on 5th Street, that was interesting.
That was pretty fun, for sure.
It was a good parade overall.
Yeah, overall, everyone was all in attendance. We were right behind the Double Front Chicken crew, which, why not to go there for lunch today? And, I ran...
sponsored.
Yeah, I went in there just like, hey, I got to use your bathroom. And then just went to use the bathroom. It was just like, it's like one of those situations where it's just like, where are the places you can use the bathroom without worrying or being guilty for not buying stuff from the place that you go to use the bathroom in?
Yeah. And let's see, Double Front also had Gary Gillette playing on their float.
Yep. Which brings me to that. Gary Gillette will be going to Butte, America tomorrow to celebrate with all those Butans.
The Butte, America?
The Butte, America, to do their St. Patrick's Day celebration, which they do at Hartley on the 17th of March. So look out for that.
They call themselves Butte, America because they think they're better than No, just kidding. No, that's the fun history about Butte is it used to be huge.
Yeah.
Butte was the town.
It was the town. It was like L.A., Chicago, Butte.
Mm-hmm.
It was the resource state. We became known for it. It was copper, which pretty much added electricity for most of the world. Mm-hmm. Very much how precious minerals today are used in our cell phones and everything, and it's mostly getting out of the Congo.
Yeah. Scott, you should write a movie about Butte in its heyday, like in a speakeasy.
Yes. Well, there goes the Irish fighting again.
Or it's like right at the very beginning of the decline of Butte, right? So it's like our city's changing.
Yeah, well, isn't that kind of like I didn't watch any of Tyler Sheridan shows at all, Yellowstone or anything, but they did 1923, which is probably the thickest Irish accent you can ever get. So I assume they have a lot of ties to Butte. So don't quote me on it because I don't know anything about it. I've never seen it. Hey, a lot of people don't like Tyler Sheridan, especially on the r/subreddit of Montana, even though they try to get as much out of politics as they can. Yeah. They just detest Tyler Sheridan. Not as much as like Missoula subreddit. They love hating on Tyler Sheridan for sure. They just love it. They like dunking on that guy. Yeah. And speaking of which, one of our old friends who's appeared in a Yellowstone show, Troy Sinclair, he was a featured extra. He was a hippie protester in one of the seasons, basically flipping off what's his face, Kevin Costner's character in the show, which is pretty fun. But also we have some Samba news about him too as well. He's asking for a GoFundMe. He's his cancer came back, and he's going through a really rough time, and his family's asking for a little bit of money moving forward with some of the medical costs and comfort costs moving forward. Hey, just look up Troy Carmichael. It's Carr and then Michael.
Yes.
And you can go to support him, anything like that, anything that you can help. He was one of the folks who owned the glass shop, Raja's Glass Shop, which is right across from Diamond Jim's Casino in the downtown kind of Broadway Street.
Yeah, near Broadway and Toole.
Yes, so he was sort of giving a little bit of context to some of where he was, and just give some support for him. And it is a very interesting and bad time and everything like that. For it's hard to talk about those kind of things and be positive. But we're gonna change gears, and I also wanted to mention that starting on March 20th. Bird watchers, look out, because it's the spring migration.
Ooh.
And near Fairfield, Montana, they're doing a Wild Wings Festival near Freeze Out Lake. This is going to be 300,000 migrating snow geese among tens of thousands of tundra swans. And the best to view these animals is roughly between 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Probably one of the easiest times to just go out and just sit there on the lake and look at birds, with over 240 species documented in that area alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, geese are coming back. Winter is technically over, even though we did get all that snow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the 60s this week.
Yes.
Whoa!
Oh, no.
It's going to be a slushy mess.
It's going to be a pretty big slushy mess for sure. We're also going to be doing an interview for Your Missoula this afternoon.
Yes, that's right.
We work with a lot of local nonprofits here in town. So one of the nonprofits and one of the sectors is United Way of Missoula, which, if you don't know, they have a great program that basically prevents people from getting out of homelessness. So if you're struggling and you basically are running low, or let's say running behind on your rent, United Way have these programs in place to help keep people in their places. And they work with tenants. Not to Missoula Agent Services is a great program. And since we're talking about all these partnerships, the City of Missoula also does these public-private partnerships with many organizations in towns. And so through the City of Missoula Local Government Academy 2026, if you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, we just posted a brand new workshop talking about the way and the madness of working through partnerships through the City of Missoula. And so here's some of that stuff for you guys as well.
Really, so much of what we do is working with partners across the community. We're a relatively small staff in terms of city departments, and so we rely very heavily on our nonprofit partners, both in the housing and in the climate and resilience spaces. We work with service organizations that are providing that direct service on the ground to folks across the community. We work with landlords as well, and state and federal partners. So really trying to leverage all of the incredible energy that we do have in this community to meet those very lofty goals. I've got a couple just quick examples because that's a lot of words. So 2 programs that I wanted to highlight tonight. The coordinated entry system, which I referenced earlier, is I think somewhat, it's common across the country. It's a system often required by HUD in communities to receive HUD funding. And in Missoula, it's relatively new, but I guess it's not all that new. It started in 2017, which to me feels like yesterday at this point, but it's been a little while now. And it's essentially a shared system for folks who are experiencing homelessness or are at risk of homelessness.
It is a great resource to know a lot of these organizations here in Missoula. And it's just one of the many things is that the coordinated entry system was made for veterans during the housing sprint. As the Johnson Street shelter was closing, they saw some success because they had a lot more boots on the ground, helping people on a case-by-case, more flexibility, and so they're continuing moving that forward. Also, during City Council, they spoke about how the Veterans Program, and gave a pretty big update on the place called Home Services. So let me see if I can find my notes here, bring that up. All right, let's see here. where was it? Okay, here we go. So HUD-VAC. So HUD-VAC is HUD geared towards veterans, of course. And, they're doing some new housing, veteran housing by Yokes. They bought that hotel next to the Yokes and the Poverello Center.
Right.
Has been and HVAC, HUD-VAC, not HVAC, HUD-VAC has been instrumental in bringing programs to help veterans get into housing regardless of employment status. This program has been in place since 2022. Success includes the ramping up of placement from 2 to 3 a month to roughly about 5 to 7 a month, resulting in 49% overall reduction in homelessness for veterans.
Okay.
So in Missoula, there's 96 homeless vets, with 47 being housed up based on the latest update, which was last Wednesday. Also take notes because SSVF grant is Volunteers of America and Veteran Inc., which provides 6 months rent-covered, landlord perks, and flexible funding from United Way of Missoula. So those are some things that they spoke about on Wednesday's meeting of land use and planning. These are the programs for veterans, but I'm not leaving out the rest of the folks out there who are looking for HUD, Missoula Housing Authority, Front Step, CLT, which used to be the North Side, long title name. But it also provides many affordable housing options, including those homes on the North Side Rivara project. So, yeah, some interesting things happening there. There's always something to kind of look out for. And, people are so busy with work and, it's hard to really kind of see a lot of these kind of programs in place to help. And, we work with it all the time. So it's important for us to kind of let people know about these programs overall. Missoula Housing Authority is a great organization. They connect all the dots for a lot of people. Yes, there's a wait list. There's a wait list with everything because a lot of people are waiting to get those benefits kicked down to them. And their HUD-VAC for the veterans has been a good success, and so far they've reduced it by 50% over the last year or so. So good news for that one because it's so easy to it's easy to get into homelessness, but it's so hard to get into housing once you've been homeless. You have work history, you need at least like 2 weeks or 2 pay stubs, a lot of those things that you need to do to even apply to a place to live. So for those of you who are in between jobs, you still need the proof of employment to even get an application for housing.
It's hard.
So losing housing, it can get very complicated.
Yes.
And not to mention if you don't have your ID, your social security number, heck, a lot of other documents of proof just so you can get into it. And then this also goes into the argument of just like, oh, the illegal immigrants are taking our jobs, but they don't have the documentation to even get those jobs because it's hard for just us. Heck,
they're taking our jobs, it's the employer's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Even the American homeless have trouble getting jobs because of the documentation.
Yes.
So
Have you ever tried getting a job without a permanent address?
Exactly. Impossible. So yeah, it is ridiculous. And there's some people who put out P.O. boxes and stuff like that. And some people just even be like, hey, you can use my address to put your name on an application. That's perfectly fine. And that's what they try to do to work with people. And I know a lot of these programs and nonprofits are just like, yes, these people, but they answer to our program, so they are having to have this certain requirement to be able to do this. And probably one of the few programs I'm definitely been taken aback for just because of how positive it is the Valor House.
Oh, yeah.
Which is an extension of HUD, which works with veterans. And
yes, I went there with Joel to do a little piece on it at one point.
Yep, and the coolest thing about it is that the money that you pay into the rent, air quotes, essentially goes into a fund that you can take on with you later on when you move out.
Oh, that's nice.
So what it does is that, somebody was quoted in saying that they saved up to $20,000 just by using the Valor House so they can get to the next point.
That's a leg up right
exactly.
there.
You have a nice little nest egg just to kind of keep there for yourself. People work hard and, especially here in Montana, it's like, it's hard to see people without at least 2 jobs for sure. So some positivity moving around there and programs in place. And, there's a lot of people out there whose job it is to help you get out of homelessness. So why not take advantage of it? Yeah. Anyways, yep, that kind of gives you a little bit of a city council report / what's going on with the city academies talking about these programs. All right, so we also have a fun video for you guys. This is going to be playing, there's some readings too, so it's going to be some fun stuff with that. So this is Arts and Above. We just posted it on our MCAT YouTube page. It's called Parallel Obscura. So without further ado, here's a little taste of that.
With poetry. Words Bruno Augusto wrote in his youth when he was a student in Cuba, dancing far from Angola,
far from the civil war he had left behind. His dance carried him farther still, to New York, to Washington, D.C., to San Francisco. Along the way, he danced into the arms of Kate Augusto, his wife, his partner in creation, and in San Francisco's Tenderloin district, raw, electric, improbable. An old garage reopened its doors. Concrete floors, uncertain permits, a stage built on landfill that shifted during earthquakes. It was transformed into a space called Safe House Arts by tonight's featured guest artist Joe Landini, newly returned from London, full of vision, and newly determined to claim his worth after 11 years of giving his time away. He left that chapter behind with something that finally matched his value. It wasn't polished. It wasn't guaranteed. It wasn't safe, but it was alive. And what grew there was more than performance. It was risk, joy, belief, the kind that ripples outward until it becomes difficult to tell where the choreography ends and the community begins. A reminder that we are not moving alone. Last week, Bruno came by the studio. He passed this piano, stopped mid-stride, turned and called me over. He showed me 2 chords. I played them wrong. He adjusted me and exclaimed, "Something should be done with that." It wasn't casual. It was ignition. Tonight is a collective. Many artists, many forms, one celebration. Bruno Augusto. His dance, his poems, his music. And for my small part beneath the poem, I would like to begin with 2 chords.
Well, if you guys want to see the whole entire thing, you're going to have to go to MCAT's YouTube page at MCAT TV Missoula to check out this Arts and Above performance. Yeah, so we give a little taste of MCAT original programming, not to mention it is a reflection of Missoula, so anybody who is an organization here in town wants MCAT to just go out and film your guys' thing that's coming out, thing that's happened, event, show, concert, Road This Rule. We've been doing like a whole bunch of Road This Rule shoots.
Yes,
so we did one here in Missoula, and you did one out in Hamilton.
Yes.
And so everyone can pretty much agree. I think everyone, even on Montana Free Press, was basically saying 99% of people who participated in these meetings about the Road This Rule are just like, stop messing with our land, basically.
Yeah. I mean, like hunters like the roadless rule because the elk and deer don't go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole point is like they also said that the fire danger would only be higher for sure.
Yeah.
Heck, I was just talking to Lori here at MCAT, and she was basically saying that, especially with all the snow that's been falling down just over the last weekend, apparently Sealy got like 30 inches. So they got a big dump of snow up there for sure. Yeah. I mean, I just hope it's fairly even distributed, but I really doubt we're going to have enough.
Were very happy
this weekend was probably like, oh, great. Finally, I guess. I mean, we don't have to use an ice machine to build our own snow, but, in the mountains it's always snowy most of the time, but when you have places like Missoula.
Fresh powder.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're also basing most of this stuff out of Missoula, which we've basically been inside most of the whole winter.
Speaking of Missoula, this is Hooligan Watch.
Hooligan Watch. Anyways, apparently on Reddit somebody posted that somebody's been throwing crap at cars.
Yes. As some celebrities would say, some real doo-doo feces.
Yes, exactly. From what I saw from the picture, it's like a gray Kia kind of Subaru SUV kind of looking car.
Let's see. They identify it as a Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper, gotcha.
Here, I'll go find it.
Because I saw the picture online. It kind of reminded me of those Kia kind of like box cars, but gray, when they made a thing come completely boxy.
Yeah.
That's what I got from the rear view, because they didn't look too much of the...
They ran it through plate recognizer, and they say it's 90% confident that it's between a 2008 and a 2014.
Gotcha.
And that it's a Mini Cooper.
Gotcha. All right. Oof. Yeah, just basic teenagers throwing things out the window or just things and whatnot. Did they figure out what part of Missoula was this in? It was like the Whitaker Drive and all that kind of area
it
up
looks
there.
up by near the foothills.
Yeah, foothills, South Hills, those kind of areas. So
Yeah.
look out for those, because I remember about
Look out for the hooligans.
the hooligans.
Oh, I think we
Yeah.
should take all teenagers and lock them up.
Log of the teenagers. It's like
All teens.
This is what you get for trying to figure yourself out.
I hate youth.
Pretty much. I don't get it. Then they changed what it was. Now what? No. Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things for sure. It's like, teenagers are definitely either really busy or not busy at all.
Yeah.
And this probably definitely falls in the category of those teens are not busy at all.
Yep. In other news, Bozeman's got First Contact Con coming up. A new sci-fi convention, it looks like.
Bozeman, they're our rivals.
Yeah. But, they're doing First Contact Con because Bozeman appears in Star Trek as where they meet the Vulcans.
Oh,
for the first time.
100%.
It's First Contact.
Yeah, First Contact Day.
In Bozeman.
When is it officially?
When's First Contact Day or the con?
Oh, the con.
The con is April 4th and 5th.
Right. I'm going to look up First Contact Day.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to happen after World War III, allegedly.
Oh, Bozeman thinks they're so great.
So apparently...
because they get the aliens.
Exactly. Apparently it's going to be April 5th, 2063.
Okay.
So potentially in our lifetime, I'll be in my 80s by then, that's for
Come
sure.
on, Vulcans.
Vulcan.
Get down here already.
Pretty much. So yeah, there you go. Some nerdy stuff going on for you guys looking to do some conventioning. Is it just solely Star Trek only?
No, it's sci-fi.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi.
Because you
con.
can't just do one theme, especially in a smaller city like Bozeman compared to the greater Northwest Pacific area.
Yes. Here they list some things that will be here in this Reddit post. A sci-fi marketplace.
Ooh.
Interactive virtual reality station. Hologram exhibit from MSU. Oh, that's cool.
Ooh.
Plenty of photo ops.
Whee.
Merch giveaways.
Holla.
Endorian Adventure Base, a play area for kids as well as a nursing room, hosted by the Fairy Sisters.
Nice.
And Games of Sabak, hosted by Hyperspace Props. And
Nice.
that's on both days. And then they've got some unique offerings on each day. So that looks pretty cool.
Nice. I'm excited for that. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. Too bad you'd have to go to Bozeman to be this.
Nobody likes to go to Bozeman.
Bozeman.
Bozeman, isn't that the place with the bobcats?
Cats? But I like bears.
They're like big dogs that eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want the cougars. I want the bears.
Yes. You're listening to 101.5 KFGM MCAT Radio with Scott.
And Neil.
We're just talking about various things that are happening in and around Missoula. And one of the things is, yet again, McClay Bridge has reared its old ugly head yet again.
Back to McClay Bridge.
Back to McClay Bridge yet again. We're going to be, it seems like every 5 years we're just like, we got to get rid of the bridge, guys. And they're just like, no.
I like it.
No. Yeah, so people of the Target Range have fought back against the county many
It's an
times.
iconic bridge.
It's an iconic bridge, and they're pretty much, the county commissioners are pretty much like, we can't use the bridge. We can't restore the bridge, and if we do end up taking out the bridge, we're not going to replace it. And if we do replace it, it's going to be on South Avenue, and that's where things are like,
you just
no.
can't not have a bridge there, right? I mean,
No, you cannot have a bridge there, but I mean the fact that the bridge was made in the 1920s,
the 1920s, McClay.
and then they've done subsequent repairs over and over again, and just trying to make sure it's drivable on the single lane bridge. It's just, I don't know. It's like one of those things. It's like it's been a core of like I would say that this is Target Range's Milltown Dam.
Oh yeah,
Milltown Dam forever. I mean, Bonner Community Council only formed because of a committee at removing the Bonner
And 20
Dam.
years from now, it'll be Target Range's Roman Empire.
I don't know. That's the thing is like, I mean, I've met many of the people who have spoken against anything that happens with the McClay Bridge because it's pretty prolific in that area.
Mhm.
So I'm not entirely sure if it's going to move forward, move backwards. Heck, they might just end up condemning the bridge and just being like, nobody can go on this bridge. And then, I mean, it seems like one of those things where just like they're putting on the pressure to be like, we're going to have to do something about this bridge.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be building another bridge off South Avenue, which is where the argument really kind of...
They kind of need a bridge where McClay's is, I think, because there's a bunch of residential right around there. And then their only other
Because it's the
option
Blue
to
Mountain
get into
Road.
town would be to take Blue Mountain.
Yeah, they
and
go all the way.
around to Mullet.
All the way. Yeah.
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 It like almost completely cuts them off from.
Yeah, it reduces response time for a lot of the fire services.
too.
You know, Rural Fire Department 1, which is just off of Reserve Street, they're the closest one to the Blue Mountain folks having to use McClay Bridge for emergency services. So, I mean, in many ways, if, you know, the demand for having a bridge there would have to be for emergency services access, but then unfortunately it will open the door for a lot more people to go through South Avenue. So, I don't know. This is a yet another one of those 5-year cycles of we got to do something about McClay Bridge, guys. Come on, guys. We really got to do something about this bridge.
Let's see, what year was it built?
I mean, from the article, it said it was like 1923. But
Okay, so it is over 100 years old.
yeah, let me just double check to see, because I read this on the article at Missoula Current. I'm not entirely sure. What was your history with McClay Bridge?
Oh, you know, I just kind of went out there from time to time. I never jumped it, but my older sister did. She liked to jump that bridge.
Yeah, a lot of people like the bridge, and
Yeah.
let's see, where is it? Keep talking.
Well, you see, the thing about McClay Bridge is it's also a good little swimming area in the summer because the water's kind of low, but it's nice and cold. You got a nice little sandbar, of course, so people like to swim and fish there. And then, of course, there's floating down the area. You know how much we love our floating.
Yep.
You know, there's that. Did you know that the amoeba, the brain-eating amoeba, is pretty common all over the northwestern,
Really?
Just the northern American continent.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty common, but it's not common to get because you got to get the water up your nose. So if you're floating, don't get water up your
No.
nose.
So yeah, I mean,
Even if you do, you're
heck, even the
probably
Missoula
fine.
Current article basically said it was the 1920s. They don't have a specific date, and it was placed at their current location in 1953. So wait, something that was built in the 1920s and then placed in 1953. So it hasn't been 100 years since it was there, but still, you know, the whole idea is behind this. And yeah, regardless, you know, one of the things is that I think people complain more about McClay Bridge than they complain about most things in the area. And I think they try to build the South Avenue Bridge when they were complaining about the noise McClay Bridge would make. You know, residential neighborhoods, people would hear people crossing the bridge because it would just got old and louder. And so they created more padding. That was their later updates. I just remember hearing so many back and forths with all this stuff. And most people in the target range are just like, no. And people in the counter are just like, yes. Target range, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, there's just going to be a lot more talking about this. And maybe, you know, 10, 20 years from now, there'll be a new generation of people be like, you know, it's about time. We got to do something. We can't just...
Well, why don't we just take the bridge and bring it over to Fort Missoula as an exhibit?
That would be pretty sweet,
That
honestly.
would be awesome.
That would be really cool. But
They could, like, integrate it into
Yeah.
the walkway, so you, walk over the bridge.
That would be pretty cool,
That-
actually.
I like that.
I like that a lot
I like
better.
that a lot.
Yeah, I
And
mean-
Scott, you're on the Friends board.
Yeah, I'm on the Friends board of Fort Missoula. And I think one of the things that it also harkens back to the idea is it's like, oh, we should preserve it for historic preservation. I mean, it was the same thing with the houses on 4th Street. You know, those buildings that they built when they replaced all those buildings with that new housing project that was...
Right.
I think this was, just at the peak of the pandemic?
Right.
When everyone is having their input, be like, we have to have 8 affordable units for this, and it's still on the Front Step CLP website for people who want to apply for those affordable housing units.
Right.
But it was like one of those things where just like, just because something is like historical half the time, there are always ways eventually to get around that. And they ended up just tearing it straight down. I mean, we think about historic buildings here and there. It's just like, one of the fewer places, and through the UDC, Unified Development Code, is that the overlay with historic district only really applied to Fort Missoula and not many other places.
I mean, sometimes it blocks people for quite a while. I mean, the old hospital's still standing.
Which one?
The old military hospital.
Yeah, that was one of the bigger arguments too, because
Yeah.
the developer, Max Wolf, was trying to get that redesigned and put some residential there and like a commercial center, and it just didn't seem feasible because that whole area is not residential. It's not cute for that. It's like historic districts, and yeah, it was a big mess. And I can't speak for it because there's just a lot of back and forth. And since I'm on the Friends board, most of the people on the Friends, including myself, recommend that they do not get the permit for demolition, but we don't have any say on whether that actually passes.
It's not on the fort grounds.
But pretty much a good chunk of us who are on the inside, I mean, I have a biased opinion on this because I'm on the Friends board, and of course I want to preserve historic.
Well, and then, I took a walk-through tour of that building. And one thing they said is like, and this is the room they did lobotomies in. And I was like, whoa.
And secretly like, cool.
I mean, yeah, cool.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's history.
It
it's
really
dark
is.
history, but it's history.
Oh, it's horribly dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, imagine that for a Fort Missoula tour.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you could do like the haunted ghost tours.
Yeah. But it's very much like Fort Missoula is very much like the Historic Museum kind of incorporated back in the 1990s. But it was originally, military surplus.
That's right.
And so, like many military surplus bases, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
I mean, a great example is Tyler Perry's old military base that he converted into his Atlanta studios.
You know what else was like that? Woodstock 99.
Woodstock 99?
Yeah, that was on an old military base.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, they made documentaries about how bad it was.
Yeah, I just watched one.
Yeah. And I think it was like post-Fire Festival and just like, this isn't the unintended consequences of having a good time.
Yeah, well, it was like people who did the original Woodstock, and they were like, oh, we should do another Woodstock.
Yeah, for the 30th anniversary.
Yep, and then it just was not planned.
It was just like MTV coded to heck, and it was just literally like the last, like spring break, bro, whoa. Kind of like that kind of like. And then you would kind of see little tidbits of that same history come up with like the Andrew Tates of the world. And like it's the manosphere. It really feels like it's like Woodstock 99 people who are just like, I'm going to make it my personality to be like this.
And Woodstock 99 was like, there was some bad stuff that happened to women there.
No, 100%. That's what the whole documentary is about. It's like, it was like, they said that it wasn't only just mud that people were dancing in.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, there's a little bit of context for that too for you guys. And
Yeah. Well, their whole issue is they had no running water and no way to get water to their attendees, and they were on like this giant like tarmac basically.
Yeah.
And so that just turns into a skillet in the summer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like when you're event organizing, you're just like, everyone's invited and we're going to televise. Everyone's going to be able to see it because it's going to be live on MTV like 24/7.
Yeah.
I just remember being live all the time.
And then they tore down this huge part of the display because, was it Pearl Jam that was supposed to? There was a band that was supposed to show up.
There's an antagonistic between a band and the crowd a couple of times too.
Yes, there was that. But
I thought it was Korn.
There was a band that was rumored to show up. They were never planned to be there, and the audience got their hopes way up. And when the band didn't show, because they were never planned to be there,
right?
They rioted.
Yeah, it was like the same thing with the Fire Festival. Is like when you basically padded out a whole entire performance based on who's going to show up, and then most of the people who were not paid to show up didn't show up because they weren't paid to show up.
Yeah.
So it is kind of kooky because it reminds me of, because we're just on the anniversary of the Scotland Willy Wonka experience.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Oh, I forgot about that.
They used AI software to create a really dynamic poster to promise a realistic tour through Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And it got really dark and weird.
Yeah. Just like the real Willy Wonka.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it got dark and weird. yeah. I guess they got what they paid for, I suppose.
Yeah.
Ugh. But they and then just even some of the footage of the Willy Wonka experience was like, ooh, watch out for the guy behind the mirror. just some random guy just like, ooh,
Oh.
booga booga booga.
Booga boo- eat chocolate.
Pretty much. All right. We got another clip for you guys from City Club for the month of March. So here is a little bit of presentation about the community care team about health in the city of Missoula.
Landscape of care. So one of the things that I was going to ask, I was supposed to ask a question at the other one too, and this feels really reductive, but I think I made it like way into medical school before I actually knew the definition of Medicare, knew the definition of Medicaid, and knew the difference when there was expansion and what did that mean. So I'm not going to test anybody here right now, but I think that's a really important thing to recognize, because when we're looking, nationally right now, these are terms that are just getting thrown out there all the time. And everybody gets to make their own decision, obviously, but it's so hard a lot of times to know the context. Like, what does that actually mean? And so maybe that could be a little group discussion as you're kind of thinking about it. And then Josh can't weigh in on this, but in expansion, this is for extra credit, there is a 90% federal dollar match for Medicaid. For extra credit, what is the match when there is no expansion from the feds? It's 57. Right? So Medicaid in Montana, why does it matter? Medicaid is access for a lot of people, and I think the expansion component of this is super important to talk about. When you look at the bottom there, the driving the Montana economy, workforce support, 7 in 10 adults work. A ton of children and a ton of very disabled people are on Medicaid. So that other 3 often really can't work. And that's just something to keep in mind. The economic impact in Montana with expansion is $775 million of federal spending that happens here, 7,500 state jobs, and improved access for the expandees, which is basically anybody who is below 138% of the federal poverty level in Montana. Does anybody know what the federal poverty level 138% is? Anybody know? It's $22,000 a year for one person. Obviously, it should climb double for 2, and it doesn't. It actually is a little slower than that. So it really is just helping people access care.
Out there,
pretty passionate about this.
Just
Why?
some
because this keeps people out
information. City Club is part of the Missoula Chamber of Commerce. They host these kind of talks where they invite businesses, organizations, the city of Missoula to talk about various things, and this one happens to be about Medicare costs, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in learning more about those, you can find it on our YouTube page at MCAT TV Missoula.
Yeah. So Scott, what are you hungry for today?
Hungry for? I'm hungry for, I'm definitely feeling more Mexican food. I'm definitely vibing for some Mexican food for sure. I definitely might get some on my way out of here for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
nice,
I'm
nice.
excited for that.
Yeah. I'm feeling pizza.
You feeling pizza?
Yeah, I think I might make a pizza.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Make your own pizza or buy some take and bake?
Yes, yeah, Anya and I, what we do like to do is we go buy some La Petite dough.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we make our own pizza.
You good? Yeah.
It's great. Oh, it tastes so good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a big fan of, I'll probably get some more bread from Great Harvest at some point because that's some good bread there for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so here's some information coming out of Glacier National Park. Isaac Walton Inn is on the market for $18 million. Wow. So they got their big resort. This is kind of like the thing you'd think about when you want to visit Glacier and you want to have the aesthetic, the old school aesthetic of, enjoying the park. And so, yeah, it looks like
it up right now.
Dealing with some financial troubles, who isn't these days, honestly, feels like.
Yeah, right.
And especially with the gas prices going up, travel is probably going to go down over the summer if nothing gets kind of figured out in the near term. So essentially, from what Montana Montana Free Press says is that the inn was closed the following year for major remodeling and opening again for fall of 2024. Lodge, which is pronounced Lodge, stands for Live Outside, Go Explore, was working on the property in Essex, which is actively expanding its home state of Washington and across the West. The company was founded in 2016 with the mission of forgotten motels near our favorite towns and trails and bring them back to life. So, yeah, 2016 would have been like kind of like the big year to kind of bounce back in a lot of these markets, moving into a lot of places for sure. But then once we really got hit with some of those harder times, Montana definitely did become a little bit more of a destination town during the pandemic. I remember the ads we ran during 2020 over the summer, which was pretty much like, let's give Montana a pass this year for everyone. People still showed up, for sure. But once we got back into the swing of things, I think tourism really exploded in 2021, 22, and so on.
We should go make a ripoff of The Shining in that hotel.
That hotel looks pretty dope. It looks almost exactly what you'd expect from a horror movie.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, you should check it out. It's on montanafreepress.org.
Be a great location. It's
yeah.
a permanently closed place. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty excited for sure. Let's see, what else is going on? I'm also just looking at the website of the Montana Free Press one for sure. But, there's, let's see, I don't know, nothing going on here. But apparently, if we're going to go into politics, which usually kind of devolves most of the time, but looks like there's a Republican reckoning in a Flathead. So there was a big article recently, and the Kalispell 2025 municipal election wasn't just humiliating for Flathead County Republicans; it was dumbfounding. This month did something about it. So this was like, the posting their losses and a lot of different things. They lost the mayor's seat, and a lot of times their mayor's seat is, no party affiliation. So what they want to do in that town is they want to make sure that there is a primary in place for their mayor election moving forward from now on. But it seemed like 58,000 residents produced more Republican votes in the statewide election. So they're like the mainstays.
Yeah.
They're one of the reasons why the Western District of Congress tends to sway a little bit more Republican than most, because we're split down the mountains between East and West. Because if we were separated from North to South, I'm pretty sure most of the South of Montana would mostly vote Democrat based on those numbers because of the urban center cities and high population centers and they tend to vote more blue in those urban areas too, in that respective case, because it just always has been that way.
Yes.
Let's see. So yeah, I mean, if you get a chance, this article, there's a lot of things going on with that. Heck, even Great Falls is having a big resurgence, trying to get rid of a lot of those moderate GOP members who voted with the Democrats over the last legislative session, which basically helped move forward with the Homestead Act to help reduce property taxes in Missoula, and well, not just Missoula, but the statewide. And so the recalculation is essentially kicking the can down the road, but it did reset the calculations to the pre-assessed value of your homes for tax reasons. Because, I remember we were going through $1 billion surplus in Montana for the first 2 years after 2023 session, but then once we got past this last session, it was like, okay, hopefully this year would be a lot easier. And anybody who has like commercial rentals or anything like that, if they haven't already sold out to out of state, you can still apply, because apparently they're going around meeting the community councils. Mark Thane, who represents folks here in parts of Missoula County and the Lolo area, was talking and decrying that we need to, there's thousands of properties that haven't applied for the Homestead Act property reassessment for the taxes. So, and they're really worried that they're going to put those extra taxes on the residents. And so they're really trying to warn people. It's like, hey, you want to make this easier for residents and renters to stay in your properties. You don't want to raise their rates, because the tax excuse is not readily available. If anything, the whole like tax reassessment thing was supposed to be for short-term rentals, Airbnbs, second homes. But when it comes to long-term rentals and commercial properties, the Homestead Act really does help with that, because people who live in those places, more than 7 months out of the year, which is part of the Homestead Act, they don't have to pay those extra prices. So some rentals some rentals are still able to lower their property taxes, and they haven't done it yet. And so I just want to use this platform to get the word out.
Lower your property tax.
Lower the property taxes on the property for property management. It's like you want to pay less money for taxes, right?
Yeah, so I was actually just looking at a couple different rentals just because I like to browse. I saw
Well, you have to, yeah.
I saw one that was like pretty good price, but I'll tell you the deal breaker for me. It's on the second story, and so it's got a slanted ceiling, and the bath is right over in the edge of the slanted ceiling. So if you wanted to take a shower, you'd have to sit down.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So there's like a tub that's pushed against the side, essentially.
Yeah, this slanted ceiling. You know, like I'm sure that'd work well for some people, but for me, that is a deal breaker. I'm a big guy.
Yeah, you're a big guy. I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things. Like I was thinking back. You know, if we were gonna throw back my grandfather's grandma house up in Plentywood in Montana. They have an old home, and they have those kind of like really small. I guess the closest thing to say is a loft.
Right.
And the stairs were like twice as high, but also
very thin.
half
It's
as
more like a ladder.
It's more of a ladder. And so that was their access to the room upstairs. But then I looked around the house. It's like, okay, so you got kitchen, dining room, living room, and then upstairs. Where do people live? Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of kooky where, you know, when you have these kind of like Irish Catholic family just have these explosion of kids, just like 11, 12, 13, more and more kids, it trickles down to the next generation who have a little bit bigger homes too.
Yeah.
Satiate, is that the right word?
Satiate.
Satiate, yeah. Anyways, you're listening to 101.5. Let's recalibrate. This is MCAT Radio. I'm Scott.
And I'm Neil.
All
and,
right.
you know, like, to save on costs recently, I've just been secretly living in the homestead exhibit at Fort Missoula.
Pretty much. Well, you're doing that one? I was just in the brick and mortar one recently.
I've been living out of the library car.
Oh, I've been living out of the library bicycle. I was so disappointed I didn't get a chance to ride it, but the roads are so sloshy during the St. Patrick's Day parade. If you guys get a chance, I'm usually the guy who always willingly volunteers to ride the book bike for the library.
We actually caught the parade from first person this year.
Yes.
On GoPro.
Yep. So he wandered around with the candy in tow. Our old buddy Graham. He's going to be producing a time lapse just of everything that's going on. You know, because there's a lot of kids out and about, and I talked to him about it. It's like, just so you know, it's a public event. There's kids around. Just give it like a homogenous kind of feeling to it, where it's just like you can't really recognize anyone and just kind of get an idea. Just protect the people.
And that's why I cranked up the motion blur.
Pretty much.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, and it's all like chaotic. Anyways, we spend very little time just bouncing around. The left side was completely clear, while the right side tended to have a lot more people waiting for their candy and saying hi and saying Happy St. Patrick's Day. So. Yeah, I remember last year was nice and sunny. It was really great. And then this year it was just me, you, Graham, and Riddick. Shout out Riddick.
Shout out Riddick.
So you guys played Lethal Company over the Sunday, so we can talk a little bit about that.
The Lethal Company, I think it scales the difficulty the more players you have. Yeah. For those who don't know, Lethal Company is a 4-player co-op horror game where you go to different alien moons to find salvage.
Okay.
And there's monsters and creatures that try to make that difficult for you. And you have to make quota, or the evil space company you work for will not be very happy.
Oh, okay. But you can lose your life.
Yes, exactly.
But, it's like, space, mining, collecting.
Not mining.
Okay.
No. Basically, you just walk into old abandoned facilities and you find junk.
Gotcha.
To bring back to your ship.
Sweet. And Graham showed the footage of where all the spiders were set in the corner and attacked everyone. It was like he did like a scan, and it was just like, oh, there seems to be like infinite amount of spiders just in that corridor.
That part. You saw that part?
Yeah, they replayed it because they were just showing some of the old stuff. I joined the Discord
Yeah,
late last
That
night.
was really funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty great.
Those are loot bugs.
Yeah, and then
there are spiders, and they're way more dangerous.
and then our boy Jack, I kind of chimed in at the time where he was talking about his workout routine.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, so I go 15 minutes fast on the bike, I rest for 5 minutes, go another 10 minutes fast, then rest for 5 minutes, and then go for another 5 minutes really hard.
You know what I do? I look at the weights across the room and go,
Pretty much. You got to do that.
I don't have weights.
Yeah, we got to do weight training. We got to keep the muscles as we get older. Isn't that the new thing nowadays? You got peptides, which is like borderline like testosterone or like
Right.
it's like peptides are allegedly supposed to be like it's basically legal steroids in a way.
Yeah,
It helps you
you've
build your
also got
muscle.
all
Blah blah
the,
blah blah blah.
GLP-1s.
Yeah.
Uh,
All these other numbers and letters and things to
Yeah.
help people build things,
yeah.
And then then you can look max, which seems to be the thing with a lot of I've only seen it with one guy who's looks maxing, which
Yeah.
is apparently like a guy who does looks maxing.
Online, you saw this?
Yeah, I saw it online, and he's
I thought you were saying that
I guess
you
he's
know
like
a guy who was looks mad.
No, not, I don't know anyone who's looks maxing personally. I refuse to know anyone
Yeah.
who look maxes.
Well,
so
that's-
ideally, how it works is that you do things to your body to make yourself as more appealing. Mewing, which is like improving your jawline.
Yeah, by putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth and being like,
Yes.
yeah.
A lot of that too. But apparently, like some people put little hammers, little mallets to their face to curve out some of the bone structure in their face, thinking that's going to do anything.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not like they're breaking anything. It's just like you're just hitting yourself.
I tell you, it's like the 2020s rolled around and somebody realized, like, wait, we can sell to men who are insecure about their looks.
Exactly.
And then they did.
Well, and then the person who's doing the looks maxing personality that I've seen online is just like, you're just like have no personality. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm assuming you have no morals since you're an influencer.
Yeah. Well,
but
the interesting thing about the language around it is it comes straight from incel 4chan.
yes. You can be as terrible to the opposite sex as much as you want, as long as you're good looking.
Yeah, that's exactly. In fact, the term looks maxing originated from 4chan, as far as I know.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so it's
but
like
you got to understand, I always like to think of
it's like drip fed out into wider society like this.
Yeah.
And now we've spread it. Oh no.
Yeah, pretty much. So I always like to think of it as like everybody's sarcastic on 4chan. And it's like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we started look maxing? And then there's like, what is looks maxing? And then they just made it up.
And they're like,
And there's like, oh, I wonder if anyone's gonna expand upon this. It'd be so funny. And then they do. And then there's stupid people who buy into it, and then they pay into it, and then people make money.
I'm gonna go get surgery on a boat off the coast of Somalia to increase the length of my legs.
Yeah, I'm gonna do transitioning into a transformer. I'm going to become a car.
Nice.
Yes, slowly but surely, I'll be using experimental piercing techniques to pierce wheels on my arms and my legs.
Just bolt wheels to yourself. Let's go.
Yep. And then there's they use a little bit of logic to bring people in, because that's what you do. That's how you bring people into cults, is like you use what a lot of people believe in, the basic common sense is like, oh, we're building community. We're working together to maximize your potential.
The interesting thing about that word cults is that most of the members of cults, they're not dumb.
No.
They're normal, reasonable, intelligent people.
But it's like they take them aside and they're just like, hey, by the way, we're into Blurple. What's Blurple? Don't ask questions.
Yeah,
Blurple is the
exactly.
only thing that matters to you right now. Trust me.
You sell a dream.
You sell a dream.
You sell a dream.
Exactly.
Just like a used car dealer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you fail in politics, you can always start a cult, I suppose.
Yeah. Maybe I should start a cult.
Nah.
Maybe I
No.
Hey, listeners.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Cult talk?
I was gonna say the Enlightenment Hour.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look,
That's the new radio show now.
Can I be enlightened too, Neil?
Yeah.
Tell me more about this enlightenment.
Well, first you're gonna need to take my course. Only
Okay.
$59.99 per lesson.
Okay.
Um,
Here's my social security number.
You'll get a radium rod.
Ooh.
Yes, it's to cleanse impurities.
I need to cleanse. I'm feeling really groggy. Oh, well, that's the alien waves coming down from Venus. I'm like, oh, of course,
The
Venus.
waves from this
Oh, the waves.
radium,
Oh,
It counteract
gotcha.
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going. Keep on. Oh, yeah.
counteract the Venus waves.
Yes.
And
You need to wrap. Darn, I'm losing train of thought. You need to dip your crystals into.
what kind of crystal?
What kind of crystal? That's a good
Is
question.
it sodalite?
No, it's the crystal that you'd get from those mines that give you that has that mercury kind of poisoning that people like to do.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but it's like they use natural gas, which could give them cancer, but gives them a relief on their pain for some reason. I don't remember what mine that was. I think they did a story about it. They do it every 5 or 10 years.
We could do one of those cults that's not spiritual in nature, like WeWork. Do you remember WeWork?
Oh.
WeWork
Yeah.
was in the 2010s, and it was like a shared office space,
Okay.
shared lifestyle space.
Exactly.
And it basically turned into a cult. We could do one of those.
We could do, yeah, I mean, something that is non-religious, so people, because, the more secular people are these days, they don't know that they're in a cult.
Yeah. Or, like, you've also got things like, did you ever hear of Synanon?
No, but it sounds like cinnamon, and I'm in.
Well, that one was founded as a way to for alcoholics.
Okay.
It was an alternative to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Well, because the 12-step program is essentially has a lot of religious incantations.
It does. So Synanon was secular in nature.
Yes.
But it was also one of those group living situations, and it did work for a while for people. But what seemed to happen is, the guy who started it realized, oh, these people will listen to anything I say, and that went to his head a little bit.
Well, it's kind of like the creation of the Kellogg cereal.
Right.
Where the guy's like, oh, people keep on doing sugar and being animals.
Well, you know what we need? Plain corn.
We need to toast it in the oven to make it into things, and we added it with milk. And, oh, by the way, this is my brother. It's like, why don't we put sugar on it? It's like, this is against our religion. I was like, I'm going to put sugar on it anyways.
Yeah. So, one interesting group I heard of recently from my wife is, have you heard of the Shakers?
No.
So they were a spin-off of the Quakers, except the Shakers believed that any intercourse was bad.
Okay.
So they all died off.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
There you go.
so-
Easy peasy. We got to worry about these Shakers. Like, don't worry, they're not breeding. I was like, what does that mean? Just wait.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Is like they were their own group, and they just they followed what they believed.
Yeah.
Hey,
they followed through till the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting because, I'm not entirely sure in what ways they were different from the Quakers because I don't know a ton about the Quakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if the closest thing I ever got to like a cult kind of vibe was during one of my math classes in college where they're talking about Pythagorean. The Pythagorean with
Pythagoras?
Pythagoras.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a whole group behind
Oh,
them.
yeah.
They were super vegetarian because they believed that whatever you ate, your soul would be corrupted
They
by
had
the
a
animal
whole
spirits.
math secret society.
Yes.
They were like, hey, did you know that pentagrams are cool because math? And they were like, yeah. Secret handshake.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you start off as a club, and then you turn into a gang,
Yeah.
then the gang turns into a cult,
Yeah.
and the cult turns into a movement.
Sorry, I'd like to clarify. I do not think that the Quakers or Shakers were a cult. I just thought that it was an interesting spiritual movement.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of different movements. Like, it was the same thing. God, remember the guy who was like obsessed with telling us about like the St. Patrick's drove the snakes out of the Ireland as we were just starting the parade?
Oh, that guy. Yes.
Yeah, he was just like, do you work here? He was just like talking. He was like walking.
No. No, we actually know him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember him at all.
Yeah, no. He, I won't say it on the radio.
Okay, yeah. We'll talk to you later.
I don't want to dox anyone.
Yeah, don't talk to him. But it was pretty funny because he just started talking about like random trivia. I was like, dude, the parade's starting. Could you like let us parade?
Hey, you love talking about the snakes in Ireland, Scott.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't like talking about the snakes in Ireland. It is like a tradition that's been done for so long. People kind of lost the meaning, kind of like Easter.
Yeah.
Where it's like eggs,
Rabbit.
Gotcha. Done. Nothing else.
The Easter Bunny's like, why do I have eggs? No one knows.
Nobody knows. That's so true. That's so true.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
No, why does the
All
Easter
right.
Bunny have eggs? Because we're getting pretty close to Easter, too.
Why?
So let's
does
ruin this holiday
the
for everyone listening.
Easter Bunny hide eggs.
So Sunday, April 5th.
I don't want this like representing fertility or anything. I want like specific folkloric answers.
Yes, good times, good times. We're running out of time, Neil, so let's give them
Yes,
let's give them the last bit of information. You have your Blender class tonight at 6 p.m. If
That's
anyone's
right.
interested in learning about 3D animation. We also have our podcast lessons, which we do every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. and Thursday at 2 p.m. We have our editing lessons at Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Wednesday. And then you have your final Blender class of the week, which is Friday.
Yes, that is correct. 3D modeling and animation. If you're interested, come on down Monday 6 to 8 or Fridays 4 to 6. You can find out more information on MCAT.org, MCAT.org.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much it. We're pretty much wrapping up here, and I wanted to thank you for joining me, Neil.
Aw, thank you, Scott.
And if you're still listening, you're listening to 101.5 KFGM. This is MCAT Radio. I'm Scott.
And I'm Neil.
See ya.